In the still of the night, I think of you.
You heard him. Give him the documents. The lawyer presented him with the papers and a pen. He bent down to sign, only for the papers to be snatched from him by no other but his mom. You are not signing anything. Do you have had time to read it and think it through? He turned to his mom, meaning to get the papers from her, but she tore it into pieces. It was her plan all along. Is there more? She asked the lawyer. No, he hurriedly packed up. Then we are leaving. She stared menacingly at all in the room. Very angry and enraged, he followed his mom out of the room. What did you just do? He rounded on her as soon as they were out of the room. Me? You are the one acting out of character, signing a document without reading through it or taking time to think it through. One real marriage under his belt, I believe, is enough. Do I look to you like someone who would allow anyone to take from me something that I want? My father did not ruin my marriage. I am signing that document today, tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Yes, it matters. If you sign that document, I would lose. Do you hear me? I would lose. And I have put in too much blood and sweat into Ajibola Group to lose. Stanley began walking out. Then your father should have just handed you the reins. What will it take for you to see what a vile man he was? Don't you dare talk about him in that manner. You don't know him. From the look of things, I would say I know enough. He left. He could hear her calling him, but he had had enough. Stanley angrily opened the door to his boyhood suite and resisted the urge to slam it. Ready? He was trying to sound less angry. Hey son! He heard his father's voice and he checked around. Suddenly all the rage and anger came to a calming end as the older man enfolded him in a hearty embrace. Star watched the men embrace and smiled at the sweetness of it. The two men looked exactly alike in physique and in everything. John Dagogo Silva was one seriously good-looking man, and in great shape too. He must work out a lot, Star mused. The smattering of grey hair on his hair and beard only added to his distinguished look. I wasn't expecting you. Yeah, I decided not to miss it. I heard you went to hear how much richer the old man is making you. He laughed. Stanley smiled at that, trying not to let his anger show. Well, I got 50% of Ajibola Group, he beat out. John laughed. So an Ogogro man will run his business finally. I'm turning it down. Why? Because it also comes with a clause that I get married within 3 months. What? I can't believe that conniving old man. You are definitely turning it down. No, he is not, his mother said from the door. Besides, what are you doing here? Who let you in? Hello, Bosse. Nice to see you too. I decided at the last minute to pay my respect to your Lord Father. Even that your tardiness wouldn't allow. Ready, Star? Stanley asked. Star, who was standing petrified, nodded rapidly and picked up her purse. I am ready to leave as well. And you made the right decision, son. Oh, nothing has been decided yet, John. You can't possibly want our son's marriage to be controlled by the father. Like controlling and ruining yours wasn't enough for him. Typical John. Only you will see success as a punishment. But my son is going to... Our son! And I would not let your father. What are you going to do about it? You didn't stand up to him when he was alive? What makes you think you can? Both of you stop! You may have failed to notice, but I am no longer 6 years old. You can't be fighting about me like I'm some stupid kid. Neither you nor you is going to influence my decision on this matter. Stanley thundered at his parents and grabbed Star's hands, and in something akin to lightning speed, they left the room. Star sat beside Stanley in his car as they sped through town in a stony silence. She chanced to look at him, but his face was a mask of granite. She fished around in her mind for something to say, to ease the tension, but there was nothing. She couldn't find the right words. The truth was, she didn't know him that well to know how to placate him. Most times when she had witnessed his displeasure, there were others around, and those times she didn't feel the need to comfort him. which was okay because then he had not asked her to be his girlfriend. She stifled a sigh. "You okay?" He briefly glanced at her. That was supposed to be my line. She was jarred out of her musing. "I am used to my parents bickering. I am sorry." "For what?" "It must have been tough growing up." He chuckled. "I guess, but I wish they could just stop fighting about me. Most times, all their fights are about me. When I was younger, career choice, school choice, girlfriend, every decision they had to make about me they fought about. Like they are competing for a position of power in my life. I am tired of playing the peacemaker or being in the middle. I've had enough of it." The hardness was back in his voice. He slowed the car after a while and she looked out, hoping to see the familiar surroundings of her estate, but they were driving into Silver Towers, a 50-floor high-rise. "What are you doing here?" she smiled. "Goodness, I completely forgot. I know you think walking will get your mind out of the whole complication, but what work can do, some rest can do as well. I am not going to work. I'm getting away from everyone. I am sorry, but when I'm like this, I prefer to be alone and away from everyone and everything. There is a chopper waiting at the rooftop. I am sorry I forgot about taking you home. Jeremiah will take you home." "No," she said. "What are you doing so Madina?" she asked herself frantically. "No, I don't want to be one of those you get away from when things get tough. I don't want to be that woman in your life you'll be with only when it's all fun and laughter. I want to share in everything, the good times, the bad times." She chanced a look at him. He stared at her for a long time. None of the other girls he dated before had said such to him. Whenever he was in one of his moods, they avoided him. They never wanted to know or share in everything except the money and prestige dating him brought them. One look at her told him she genuinely wanted to be with him and to offer him some comfort, and he smiled. Suddenly he felt like a burden has been lifted from his shoulders, that finally he had found the one, his solid rock to lean on at all times. "You sure? I am not the easiest of persons to be around now, I know." "Okay," he agreed and left the car. He went round the car and opened the door for her, and as soon as she was out, he clasped her fingers in his big ones and led her to the gigantic silver building. He didn't say a word as they rode his private elevator to the rooftop. "You alright?" he asked her again. She smiled and nodded. "I am glad you are coming with me." He bent down to kiss her, but the elevator came to a stop. He gave her a lopsided grin instead. "We are here." As she saw the beautiful bird, she sighed in wonder. Of course, she has been in a chopper before. One could not work closely with Uchi and not experience such thrills. But what took her breath away was the breathtaking silver designs on his chopper and the boldly written inscription, "Silver Paradise." Wasn't his company Silver Incorporated? When did he add paradise to it? She thought as they met up with his men waiting for him. "Good evening, sir." Surprisingly, he knew them by their first names and knew their wives' names. He asked after their wives and children. Star was impressed, thinking about the vast number of staff he had. She wondered how he was keeping up. Then she became confused when he led her around the chopper. She was expecting them to sit behind the pilot, but he opened the front door and helped her up. Before she could protest or ask what was going on, he closed the door and walked around the front of the chopper once again and got into the pilot's seat. "No way," she screamed as panic set in. "What do you think you are doing? How did he expect to fly this thing?" She had never heard that he could pilot anything. Did he own private jets, yachts, and choppers? Yes, but she had never heard he could pilot one. "Flying us to our destination? Can you fly an helicopter?" "It says so on my license." "Okay, but that pilot there seemed like he does that for a living. Why not let him? That's what you pay him for." "Have you changed your mind about being with me?" She could hear some of that hardness returning to his voice. "That's not what I'm saying. Then buckle up. I am your pilot tonight." He leaned over to help her buckle up. After that, he handed her a pair of earphones. She watched as he shifted some levers, the powerful engine roared to life, and the blaze began to rotate. Star began to relax after a while as she watched him pilot the chopper. She saw that he definitely knew what he was doing. Her realization turned to admiration. What's not to admire about this self-made billionaire? Yes, he came from wealthy parents, but he forged his own path. He was everything every woman wanted in a partner: tall, dark, handsome, and wealthy. Yes, he had a temper. She could still see the tense muscles and anger simmering within him, and yet she knew how thoughtful and kind he could be. And his kindness she had seen more times than she had seen his anger. The question was, what was her plan? How was she going to comfort him in the next few days? Without thinking, she had asked to come just so that she could be part of his every life, someone he could turn to be seen as that woman in his life he could count on, to meet him halfway, or even wait in and save the day when there was trouble or crisis. The woman he needed and wanted to be with. She did not want to be seen as the trophy girlfriends he was used to. She was that one woman who would be there no matter what, and she wanted him to know that. But the problem was, she did not know how to make him trust her. Even if she slept with him all through the weekend, it was not enough. That was mostly the only thing all his exes had to offer and could bring to the table. Besides, she could do the unimaginable in bed with him this weekend and yet end up just another conquest, just another girl, another weekend. She heaved a sigh. This weekend was to be his getaway from a difficult situation, but for her it was more. It was time to gauge his extent of commitment to her, to find out what exactly he wanted and where this whole well-willed romance was going. At her age, she owed herself that much. She was not falling into bed with him until she was sure he was not just toying with her. "You're right." He knew he was a little hard on her when she protested or questioned his piloting ability. Normally, he would have joked or laughed it off, but he was not in the best of moods and had hinted as much to her, but she had insisted on coming along. As much as he appreciated that, he knew he should have insisted she went home. When he was like this, he preferred to be alone because he did not want to say something or do something that would hurt someone he cared about. "Are you alright?" he asked again. "Yes, I am." "I am sorry, I was a little bit hard just now." She nodded. "We're almost there. Wait for it." He smiled, and the view burst upon her. She could see a burst of lights, white and yellow lights, lining what she could see as streets. Powerful searchlights flooding what seemed to be a construction area. It was so beautiful. "What is this place?" She was in awe. Silver Paradise, Nigeria. "Oh wow!" A few years back, he had started an out-of-this-world resort called Silver Paradise. First one was in South Africa. Though some citizens had questioned his patriotism, he did not budge, but instead opened another one in Kenya, Mauritius, and Madagascar, and 2 more in the Pacific. His reason then was that the nation was not favorable to tourism, but now the citizens can rest. Nigeria is finally getting its own. "It's beautiful. It's going to be when completed." He began talking on the airphone, preparing for their descent. She watched in awe at the expertise he handled landing the chopper. As they landed, she saw that there were 2 men waiting for them. "Good evening, Stanley," the first man greeted. Dele called and shook his hands. The second man greeted but did not call him by his name. "Ken," he called the man. "How was your flight?" Dele asked. "Smooth," he answered and turned to her. "This is Summer, my fiancée," Dele finished for him. "We saw the internet go up in flames a few hours ago." Star watched, wide-eyed, waiting for him to correct them, but he did not. He turned to her. "Babe, this is Dele, my foreman, and Ken, one of his assistants." She smiled at them. "Welcome, ma'am, to Silver Paradise," Dele announced. "Shall we?" Stanley nodded and he led the way to an SUV. As Star noticed Dagogo Constructions written on it, she smiled. Dagogo Construction belonged to his father. As they drove along the well-lit road, which was mostly tarred, every now and then they hit a rough path still under construction. She wondered how this place was a getaway when it was still under construction. Where would they stay? She questioned as she noticed the thick foliage on both sides of the road. She was sure it was all beautiful, but it was too dark for her to appreciate the beauty. And then suddenly they made a turn and her eyes widened in awe as they came upon some buildings. "Wow!" she exclaimed. "Amazing, huh?" Billy turned about to ask her. "It's beyond amazing." She watched as they brought the car to a stop in what looked like 10 mini castles surrounding the most amazing fountain she had ever seen. The fountain was lit with same yellow lights, same as the pole lights on the road. It was so relaxing and beautiful. Then the light slowly turned to midnight blue, casting a snowy glow all over the courtyard, and she thought about fairy tales. Suddenly she gasped sharply at the beauty of it all as the light once again turned to green, and then to other amazing colors. One could spend all night just watching the fairy tale feelings of it all. Truly a paradise, and to think it was still under construction. What would it be like when completed? She wondered. "This is the VVIP area," Dene caught into her thoughts. "The only completed section." "Did you check the house?" Stanley asked. "Yes." "There wasn't a lot of time, but we fumigated and found nothing, not even a skin." "Skin of what?" "Snakes." "What?" she screamed in horror. "That will be all, Dele," Stanley said to the man and began to lead her towards one of the mini castles. "Did he just say snakes?" "Yep." Then she stopped walking and he stopped too. "And we are just going to waltz in there and say hello to them?" He smiled to cover his impatience. "Did you also hear him say they checked, fumigated and found nothing, not even a skin? And what's to stop them from crawling back into the house? Well, this is their habitat, and we are the ones invading and driving them out of their homes. So I wouldn't blame them for fighting back." "Okay, Tarzan, I think I'm just about ready to get on that chopper." "Star," he called. "I wouldn't put myself at risk, not when I'm with you. Come on, don't you want to comfort me anymore? Not if it means you and some snakes." "I can assure you, my men checked thoroughly, and besides I can kill a snake." "Okay, but once sighting anything resembling one, I am out of here." She began to move again. He opened the door and all the lights automatically came on. She gasped at the astonishing interior. "I can't count how many times my breath has been taken away today." He walked up to her. "I hope you are referring to the moments you were in my arms."
In the still of the night, I think of you. My heart beats with every thought of you. You're the one I can't let go. In your arms I find my home. Love, sweet